Hi, everybody. Welcome to Colorful Cooking at Home for the month of August. I'm Dawn Maddux. I work at Spartanburg Medical Center in the Heart Resource Center with Carrie Stewart, and this is our monthly cooking demo. This month we have Sarah Halley, and a dear friend of mine, also a nurse practitioner at SMC in the GI clinic. And I will let you introduce yourself a little bit more. But today we're going to be doing some traditional Jewish foods to celebrate the upcoming high season.
Yes. The Jewish
right.
high holidays
you
are
go.
coming up. Rosh Hashanah is the first one. It's the new year, and it starts actually early October this year. So it's in the fall. So the fall is like our busy holiday season. So traditionally you do make, well, are we talking about the food yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dive in.
Traditionally, you do often make matzo ball soup for Passover, a different holiday, but you can make it all year round. It's a great thing to eat.
Yeah.
And also with the fall comes colds. So
Yes.
this is a good thing to make if you're feeling a little under the weather.
Yeah. So, and then we're also going to make an Israeli salad, which you experienced for what, breakfast, lunch, and dinner?
Yes. So I lived in Israel. I did a gap year before college. I lived in Israel for a year, and I just remember they would eat Israeli salad, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And the first time it was served to me for breakfast, I was just like, where are my Cheerios? I was not used to that.
Yeah.
So they'll serve like, cheese, bread, Israeli salad, and it's just like packed with tons of nutrients. And then we're going to add some other things too for extra fiber and protein. So you can really make it however you like.
Yeah. It took us a while to settle on one. There was a lot of different
There's a lot of different options. Yeah. So if you see this and you're like, oh gosh, I really hate feta cheese, well, don't put it in there.
There you go.
It doesn't have to have it in there.
Yeah. And we will send out the recipes. And if any of you are watching this after it's been recorded and put on YouTube, you're welcome to send me an email. My email is D for Dawn, D Maddux, MADDUX at srhs.com. So the SRHS is for Spartanburg Regional Healthcare System. So dmaddux at srhs.com. If you're interested in getting the recipes from us, we're happy to send it out to you. Just send me an email anytime. And all right, without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started. We're going to do the soup first. So we'll prep all of the actual soup, which we started earlier because it needs to simmer for about 60 to 90 minutes. So we're going to walk through the process of getting all of that prepared. And then we'll already have the finished product because by the time we're done with that, it'll be ready to nosh. There you go. And then we'll do the matzo balls, and we also have some matzo balls prepared in the fridge. So we'll be able to actually combine the finished product, and then we'll move on to the salad. All right. Yeah. Let's get started, chef.
All right. So I'll wash my hands. It's always good practice before you cook to wash your hands. Dawn already washed her hands.
I'm going to wash them again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And we, in our house, our kids are pretty close to the same age and go to the same schools and daycares. And, there's a lot of, we need to see some suds on there singing happy birthday.
Oh, yes.
Or the ABC song twice.
Yep.
A lot of training on good, proper hand hygiene. If you're cooking for other people, especially, you want to make sure to wash your hands for at least 20 seconds with lots of soap and water. It's a great way to pass on germs to other people.
Right. And then, so the name of today's episode, Let's Nosh, for people who might not know, is Nosh is a Yiddish word for snack. And Yiddish is a language that was spoken in Eastern European. It was a mix of German and Hebrew, and they would speak Yiddish. And there are not many Yiddish speakers around these days, but a lot of people know some common Yiddish words that they may not even know are Yiddish, like schlepp is one, like, I'm schlepping all my bags and what, but yeah, so nosh means snack in Yiddish. Schwitzing, yes, sweating.
Put on a good sweat at the gym.
Yep. So those are all Yiddish words, which are cool.
We didn't even know we knew them.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll start out with what do we do with the carrots?
So they're in the fridge, actually. Okay. And so is the celery. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm going to get my own little cutting board over here.
I'm going to peel these.
Okay, so tell me some of the benefits of all this fiber, Miss GI nurse practitioner.
Oh my gosh, fiber is so good for you. It helps, I mean, it can lower your cholesterol, it helps with your blood sugar, and honestly, most importantly, maybe in my field, is it helps you have good regular bowel movements. So yes, I'm a gastroenterology nurse practitioner, and we actually need 25 to 35 grams of fiber a day. And most Americans are not eating that just because, we eat a lot of processed foods. So this is a great recipe to get a lot of good fiber in.
So when food is processed, that's one of the most common side effects, right? Is we lose a lot of the fiber in it. And I don't know, I have not backed this up, but I read something recently, and I can't remember in what forum it was, but it was saying 100 years ago, 90% of the foods that are in our grocery stores currently didn't exist.
Oh, wow.
And neither did about 90% of our chronic disease numbers. So it's kind of an interesting way to look at it. All right, so we're just getting all this stuff. Carrie Stewart is here doing our AV in the background. Remind me I'm thinking mise en place, but that's not the word I'm looking for. When you got the soup, when you're making the soup broth, what do you call it? Mirepoix, that's what it is, which is carrots, celery, and onion. There you go.
Is there a strainer I can rinse or wash this? Yeah. Okay, I'm just gonna wash the carrots.
It is washed.
Okay,
it's just right there. Okay. So what is your favorite food to eat, Jewish food to eat or make?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Not to put you on the spot, but here you are on camera.
I know. I really love challah, which is the bread that we eat every week on Shabbat. So Shabbat is Friday night. Thank you.
Oh yeah, I stole your knife, didn't I?
You did. It's okay.
Sorry about that.
Shabbat starts Friday night and it ends Saturday night. And every Friday night, you have a traditional Shabbat dinner with your friends and your family, and light the candles to kind of, start the holiday and whatnot. And then traditionally you'll eat challah, which is a type of like breaded or braided bread. And it's just really good, and I just love it.
Is there anywhere that you recommend to get good challah here in town?
That's really a good question. Publix has challah, but there's unfortunately, there's actually Greenfields in Greenville. I can't talk right now.
Greenfields in Greenville?
Yeah, that's hard. They might have challah. That's the bagel place, and they have great bagels. I love a bagel too.
Is it hard to make?
No.
It's pretty
relatively simple to make.
Okay.
I also love matzo balls, which is what we're going to make today.
All right. We put the fresh parsley in there, right?
Yes.
And the onion.
And the leek.
Okay. I cut up this onion. So what's one of the most common questions you get as a GI nurse practitioner? And I should also say, sorry to interrupt, but if anybody has any questions, there is the Q&A part of this live event, and you are welcome to type in any questions. Carrie Stewart can read them out loud to our expert here.
Wow, great. I don't know. It feels a little weird to talk too much about
GI stuff on camera while we're eating.
Well, while we're cooking, but I do feel like it's a good thing to know about, the mind-gut connection is very strong. So I feel like a lot of people think that, maybe getting nervous or something before a big event is not normal, and to have like a little tummy ache, but that's very normal.
Yeah.
And I think it's good that everyone should know that.
That's true. And we were just talking about that
Yeah.
the other day. That connection between the mind and the gut.
Yes. Okay. Right.
Mhm.
Right. So, colon cancer affects 1 in 10 people, and we are now screening at age 45. Did you know that? They've lowered it.
You told me that,
Mhm.
this week, I think,
It used to be age 50, but now it's age 45.
because we're seeing younger and younger
Mhm.
colon cancer cases.
Yes.
That's too bad.
And then it's typically every 10 years if everything is normal. But if we find an abnormal polyp, then they will often have you come back sooner, so like maybe every 5 to 7 years, or if you have a strong family history,
Mhm.
which is a first-degree relative diagnosed with colon cancer less than age 65, that would be considered high risk.
And I know, just for anybody out there, first-degree relative would be parent or sibling.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yes.
so not necessarily
Not your
like
grandparents.
not grandparents, not aunts or uncles.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, parents or siblings.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yes.
So 45. If you're 45, call your doctor.
Call your doctor and have them place a referral for the gastroenterology office, and we will set you up.
There you go.
Yeah.
So do you get to be in there for those?
No, I do mostly office visits and hospital rounds and consults and whatnot while the physicians are in endoscopy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we need our dill, and what do we do with our dill? Here we go. We got our parsley, our 2 bay leaves. So I guess we should talk about what all we put in there, because that would help. So we've done half a pound of carrots, half a pound of celery. So the half pound of carrots is about 3 medium carrots, and we sliced it into 1/2-inch chunks. And then half pound of celery is about 5 stalks, also cut into about 1/2-inch chunks, including the leaves. So I bought them already kind of cut up. And then we did an onion. I took the outside layer off, but left the rest of the skin on there, just cut it in half. And then we haven't done the leek yet.
No.
And it says the white and light green parts. We don't have to do the dark green at the top.
So just this part?
Yeah.
Okay.
And all that is going to go in there, and it's just going to flavor our soup, which is going to be, it smells amazing. I wish you guys could be here in person with us, because it is going to be awesome. So with matzo ball soup, you strain all the veggies off, right? So you're pulling all the flavor and the nutrients into the water, and then you just.
Well, we're making a vegetarian one.
Yeah, that's true.
A lot of times, traditionally, it's a chicken soup, which is known as Jewish penicillin, which is a little fun fact. In fact, I have a personal story about that. Is that my grandfather, Arnold Kramish, he worked on the Manhattan Project, and he was involved in a explosion in the Philadelphia Naval Yard. And essentially, they didn't think that he would make it. And my great-grandmother, Sarah, who I'm named after, my grandfather was from Denver. So she was in Denver. So she took a train from Denver to Philadelphia. It took 3 days, and she carried with her a big pot of chicken soup, which my grandfather accredits to his survival, essentially, because when she arrived at the hospital, she just stormed in there and, fed him the well-matured chicken soup, he likes to call it. And
that's what moms do.
That's what moms do. Yeah.
We storm
and so
in.
he survived that, and he says it's all because of the Jewish penicillin.
If she hadn't made that soup, would you even be here?
Exactly.
No.
Maybe not.
Yeah, you said
that's why I'm named after her.
You said that the guy tried to read him his last rites and he wouldn't let him.
Yes. So a priest came and tried to read last rites to my grandfather Arnold, and he refused them because, he's Jewish. He was Jewish. Yeah.
He said, I'm good.
He's like, I'm good. He's like, I'm actually Jewish and I'm not going to die.
Yeah. And I'm going to get my mom's soup and
yeah,
it's going
to be great. Yeah.
I
think I should rinse these again. Isn't that what you did?
I think Carrie, you rinsed those.
Oh, she rinsed them? Okay. So we're good.
Oh, yeah. We could.
Okay. A lot of sand and leaf.
Yeah,
so we're going to sort of double rinse them.
There you go.
Okay.
Do it. All right, so we're almost done with the soup part.
Yes.
Oh yeah, can you see the bowl? Oh, nice. Okay, we got the bay leaves in there.
Okay.
And then it calls for 10 whole peppercorns. So I just went to the store and bought a little container of pepper, but with it's not the ground, it's the whole black pepper. And again, that's just to kind of steep in and flavor the soup. All right. And then we've got 6 whole cloves. And as we learned last night, Peanut and I are not the cleanest
Oh, yes.
chefs.
And that's my nickname.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
I actually got the nickname Peanut from Jewish summer camp, where there were many Sarahs. And my good friend said, "Wow, you're allergic to peanuts. Can I call you Peanut?" We were probably about 12 at the time. So I was like, sure, that'd be fun to have a nickname. And here we are, man. It just really, really stuck.
Well, and if any of you watched the I think it was back in January, we did the whole day where we did several like small like snippets of videos, different snack ideas. It was kind of a whole day of colorful cooking at home. And I made the energy balls, but it was oatmeal and peanut butter,
Yes.
which I was almost nervous to do because I had spent most of Saturday with
Yeah.
you in the ER after
Yeah.
she was exposed to peanut butter at a place that made her a smoothie in a
Mhm.
container that had not been washed out properly.
Yes.
So
So you have to be really careful with food allergies.
it's
They
very
are
real.
serious.
And then we got to do it again when you ate from a bag of cookies that was
Yeah.
mislabeled.
I've had a lot of peanut incidences this year, haven't I?
Well, that was our yeah, because then we went to the
2
restaurant.
this year.
Fun fact, red enchilada sauce has
Peanut.
peanut oil and peanuts in it.
Peanuts, yes.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
somebody knew a woman who was from Mexico.
Me. Well,
Yeah.
it was my friend's friend. When I told her this story, she was like, "Of course. In Mexico, the red sauce always has peanuts."
So
Yes.
anyway, yeah, if you ever go to a store and see on the menu that a little warning underneath that peanuts are in there, it's probably because somebody called and said, "Hey, I spent the day in the ER because of your enchilada sauce."
Very serious.
All right, so now so I put 6 whole cloves in there. We need a pinch of the saffron threads.
Okay.
And this recipe, it says not American or Mexican saffron, which have no flavor. And this is
She has strong opinions.
She has strong opinions. We love women with strong opinions.
Mhm.
Buy the good stuff, which means Spanish saffron.
Mhm.
It's expensive but necessary in this soup. Do not sub turmeric. The flavor is completely different. Okay, so
Yes.
yeah, very opinionated. So we have Spanish saffron. It really wasn't that. It's not as expensive now as it used to be.
Okay. Good to know.
But you just find it in the regular spices,
Mhm.
and then 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil,
Mhm.
which we probably won't put on there now because this is just our preparation.
Correct.
So let's grab and then just sea salt to taste.
Mhm.
So let's grab this and show our finished product, and then we can move on to the matzo balls.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, we'll put this on top.
Yes.
So this, and I'm going to stir it up for everybody to see. And let me know if I need to lean it forward, Carrie. Okay. So you can just kind of see that everything is just kind of floating in there. And it's been 90 minutes, I believe. So I'm going to go ahead and strain this out while she gets started on the matzo balls.
Yeah, so we need another pot. I guess we can use that one.
Yes. I brought this guy out for that same purpose.
Okay.
So tell me more about Jewish camp.
Oh, Jewish camp is the best.
Where did you go? North Carolina?
I went to Jewish camp in North Carolina in the mountains, so not that far, pretty close to Hendersonville. And, I just feel like growing up, I grew up in a small town in North Carolina, Hickory, North Carolina, so not too far from here. It's very similar to Spartanburg, not a large Jewish population as well. So I was the only Jewish kid in my grade growing up. So going to Jewish summer camp was really cool because then all of a sudden I met other people who were like me, and so I didn't feel so different. So it was really special, and I still keep in touch with all my best friends from Jewish summer camp. In fact, we were just hanging out together a few weeks ago. We went to Maine, which was a really, really fun trip. And then, we all have children now, and we're going to hopefully send them all to Jewish summer camp too and carry on the tradition. It's just really fun.
I've always been a little bit,
I think we need to fill this up.
it sounds like your summer camp stories outshone mine.
Is this where we fill up the water?
Yeah.
Just use
Yeah,
the thing.
thing's fine too, if you want to do hot water.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to show what the soup looks like. So some of the spices obviously went through. If you have a more fine strainer, that's fine. But that will only add to the flavor. So you'll have a little bit of the parsley and dill still floating around in there. So this is about how much went into the what, and it was just water that we did 4 quarts of water and had it. We added all this stuff straight into the water, and then we boiled it. And once it boiled, we turned it down to medium to let it simmer with the lid off.
So this is on, right? This middle one?
I just turned it off. So
Oh,
you can turn
let's turn it back on. Yeah. So this is the water that we're going to use to make the matzo balls. And I'm wondering if it's going to be big enough.
Well, we can use the same one that we just
Let's
used.
just use the same one. Yeah, we'll switch that in a second. But we're just adding a pinch of the saffron.
Okay.
And we need a tablespoon of salt.
All right. Just going to rinse it out really quick.
I'm going to double check that. Don't want to mess it up. Yeah, 1 tablespoon of salt. Back.
And I'm not going to go to great lengths to completely and totally wash that out since it's all going in the soup.
Yeah. So essentially we're making the matzo balls in this separate container because they start out really small. Well, when you roll the dough, it's going to be small, but they expand and they basically would soak up your entire vegetable broth if you were to do it. So that's why it's done in a separate why am I blanking on pot? Thank you. Separate pot. Not used to being on camera.
Yeah.
And then we'll drop them in the soup.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this guy, do we want to do the matzo balls in here?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you wouldn't mind pouring that in the big one and then maybe add more water.
Yep. How much do we need to add?
It was 12 cups total.
Okay.
But I'm just kind of eyeballing it right now. Okay. Yeah. I'm just winging it.
Good for you.
Winging the water.
So just add a little bit more, huh?
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe like a cup. I'm a nurse. I need a checklist.
I know. And then I need a small dish of cold water.
Okay. Does it say how much? Just a little bit? Okay.
Okay. I'm going to put one of these. Here we go.
Okay. Cold water.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Here.
Put that next to the pot.
Okay.
And then I need a separate container to make the actual matzo ball.
I can get the bowl out.
This works, I guess.
Yeah, these bowls are.
This works. This is fine. This is fine. I'll just use this.
Okay, good.
So now we're going to make the actual matzo ball portion. So that's the vegetable soup. This is the matzo ball. So we need 2 large eggs.
Okay. Large-ish.
Yeah, that works.
I like how you tap yours on the side.
Yeah. Does
I don't know that
does
I've ever
everybody
seen
not
that.
do that?
And tap it on the top.
Really?
But it breaks a lot, so maybe I should go to the side.
Well, I just jinxed myself there and got some in there. Okay. And then 2 tablespoons of the vegetable oil.
Yep.
I'm gonna wash my hands real quick because I got
for it.
egg.
So we're gonna finish off this smaller one. Oh my gosh, look at that. Perfect.
Perfect amount.
Okay.
Okay.
See how I missed that? That's why I don't play basketball.
And then a half a cup, well, 1 tablespoon of seltzer water. Actually, I'll need that tablespoon back.
So what's the deal with the seltzer water?
I just feel like Jewish people love seltzer water. Actually, something you can do that's great with seltzer water is, well, like SodaStream. Do you guys know what a SodaStream is? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but you don't really need one. I mean, you can, I guess, to make it more fuzzy. But you can really just mix seltzer water with any juice, and it really, kind of makes it more of a like bubbly drink and also less sugary because you're just doing less juice, which is really nice.
Does it have a negative effect on your GI at all?
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah,
Do you have one?
No.
I feel like I actually learned about that in Israel. They do that a lot, the seltzer water. Okay.
I feel like it helps my tummy sometimes.
Does it? Oh, the
Yeah.
bubbles, I guess, like a ginger ale?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and then half a cup of matzah meal.
And I had to go to a couple stores, but we did find, so
I need
tell me the difference
actually
between,
stir this up.
yeah, difference between matzah meal versus,
Oh, okay. So Dawn first went to one store and they only had matzah, which I guess this works.
I sent her the picture and she was like, nope.
Wrong. So matzah is different. Matzah is basically unleavened cracker that Jewish people will eat during the holiday of Passover because of the story of when Moses led the Israelites out of Egypt. The story goes that they didn't have enough time to wait for their bread to rise. They had to just get out of there. So they basically ate matzah, which is unleavened bread. And so when you see that at the store, you might think, what is that? But that's what it is. It's matzah. So it's a cracker, which is very different from matzah meal, which is more like, it's more like a flour.
Did Carrie say it was, it's kind of like corn versus cornmeal.
Yes.
Two very different things.
Yeah.
So this is the matzah meal that we're using to make, and it's just kind of a fine powder. It's not a super fine powder.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I had to go to a different store. Oh, do it again. Okay. See, I don't know if you can see inside, but anyway, I texted Peanut and I was like, is this it? She said, nope.
Nope, different.
But fun fact for those, I had never been looking in the Jewish section before. It's in the international aisle.
It is. Yeah.
Like,
yes.
oh, okay.
Yes. There's lots of little goodies over there.
Yeah.
And then we need half a teaspoon of baking powder.
Yep. Not half a tablespoon.
Yes. No, made that mistake before. And then some salt. Garlic powder.
So what's the difference between sea salt, kosher salt?
That's a good
table
question.
salt.
I don't really know. This is not coming out.
Not really.
Not really.
Is it that kosher salt is? Oh.
Did we chop up the dill for this? I need to mix in the dill. I've already mixed in everything else. Okay. This is too big. I'm gonna use the small one.
So Carrie was saying that the kosher salt tends to have iodine in it. Oh, sorry. Iodized salt. Okay. So the opposite of what I just said.
Okay. So after you make the matzo ball portion, we put this in the refrigerator for about 30 minutes. So that makes it easier to actually roll out the balls. So we've made a mixture a little bit earlier that's already cold. So we'll use that. Okay, just a half of tablespoon. So where'd the tablespoon go? Oh, it's right here.
Okay. Yeah, I was kind of eyeballing the dill. And also we learned, so I did buy fresh dill from the store, which you can buy already. You can buy like the dried,
Here we go.
chopped dill weed. Turns out it is the same thing.
Okay, good to
I
know.
did not know that.
So that's a shortcut. That's
There
a
you
hack.
go. Yeah.
It's good to know about hacks because you might not have all of these readily available.
And I think if you have, like, if a recipe calls for like onion, well, that's a bad example. Maybe like fresh parsley versus dried.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Then I think you can use a little bit less of the fresh because it just has that more potent flavor in it.
So now we're going to go ahead and put this in the fridge.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
And
do a
switch it out for the
Quick, do a time lapse. A
what?
magical time lapse.
Like a boomerang or a TikTok?
I know. If we had that thing, I would spin the wheel on the camera. Ta-da. Okay, so this is what
This is what it's going to look.
previously prepared
Mhm, mhm.
matzah.
And now this is simmering,
Yeah.
right? And we
Write
have
it
the
down.
cold.
And the cold is right here.
Okay.
Is this where it gets a little bit tricky?
Well, we're gonna roll the matzo balls.
Okay.
So we're gonna wet your hands.
Mhm.
Maybe we'll wash them again for good
Yeah.
measure. And then we'll wet them and we roll them into walnut-sized balls.
Okay.
And they're gonna get really big.
So this recipe said it should make about 12 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is my first time ever rolling a matzo ball.
That's great.
Yeah.
They kind of taste like a dumpling. If I had to kind of like compare it to something that perfect. Doing
Sweet.
great.
Beginner's luck.
Yeah. You refrigerate it to kind of help make it a little harder and easier to roll. Kind of like cookie dough. I feel like a lot of cookie dough recipes will have you chill it, so it's very similar. You know, just they're easier to roll up when they're chilled.
And I did forget to wet my hands. I dried them, and
okay.
it is getting a little sticky. So.
Okay. It does say wet your hands between each ball. It makes them easier to roll. So
It really does.
mm-hmm.
Whoa. I feel like we're on an SNL skit.
I wish.
Okay. Have you showed your kids how to make matzo balls yet?
Not yet, and I really should. They would love it. I have two daughters, 5 and 2. So my oldest just started kindergarten. I can't believe it.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. We met when she was a newborn baby, and so her kid starting school was just as odd for me as it was for you. Well, probably a little bit more weird for you, but
okay. Almost got all these delicious matzo balls.
okay.
Guess you can zoom in and show these little matzo balls before they cook.
Oh. They are actually, we're making them right at about 12.
Yeah.
So that's perfect.
That's perfect.
She knows what she's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
We should let her know. Send her a message that we used her recipe.
Okay. So now, wet your hands and roll them. Gently drop them in this. We're going to drop them in this water over here.
And so why So you put them in the hot water and then you put them in the cold water after?
No, actually the cold water was for our hands,
Oh,
to wet our hands with. Just
okay.
didn't realize that at the time. It was trying to make it convenient for us to easily wet our hands, which is
Alright.
fine.
You need to pour a little bit more water in there so they're covered?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna get some warmer water then.
And then once they reach like a simmer, we'll cover the pot. And then no peeking. You have to let it simmer
You do, yeah.
for about 30 minutes. So while we're waiting on the matzo balls, we can make Israeli salad.
Yeah. And I will show you all what this looks like with the matzo balls in it before we close the lid. No peeking.
I'm going to roll one. I have enough for like one more little matzo ball.
So, can you see it?
Yummy.
Okay. So there's a little bit of saffron floating around in there. Now I gotta find my lid. There it is. And you just have to trust.
The water is simmering, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It is no longer boiling.
Okay.
Now we will move. What's that? Oh, yes. The difference between boiling is and simmering is boiling is when there is when the bubbles are coming up, it's heated all the way through, the bubbles are coming all the way up, boiling bubbles coming all the way to the top. A rolling boil is and it's just constantly bubbling. So that's like the bigger bubbles are coming up. And then simmering is when you turn it down enough that it's no longer boiling, the bubbles aren't coming up, but there's still heat to it. So sometimes it'll say simmer with the lid off if you're trying to reduce it a little bit. But if you're trying to keep the moisture in, you leave the lid on, like in this situation. So with the soup that we cooked with the with the broth that we made, we had to leave the lid off so that some of the moisture would evaporate off and it would increase the flavor.
Okay, perfect. All right, well now we're going to make the Israeli salad.
Let's do this.
Which is mostly just chopped, delicious, fresh vegetables.
Does it also call for dill in that one?
I don't think this recipe does. I think it's mint.
Yep.
Yeah.
We do have mint somewhere. There it is. Okay, perfect.
All right.
I will salvage this dill.
So these are already washed. So I'm just going to start by halving the tomatoes.
Yeah, so this recipe is all raw.
Correct.
So, and we did rinse. We got this big old colander and we've rinsed all of our vegetables before we wash them, which is a good idea. Get all the dirt. But
we're just going to cut the tomatoes in half.
What did we say? Dirt don't hurt.
Oh yeah, God made dirt. Dirt don't hurt.
But you still want to rinse your vegetables, especially if it's, if it's not a pesticide-free farm.
Do we have a smaller knife?
Yeah.
I feel like this one is a little large.
Okay.
For the tomato cutting.
I've got a big clean bowl and I will move this guy out of the way.
Okay. You can use this knife actually to cut the cucumbers. I feel like that would be a better. And they're probably fourthed. Let me see what it says. Peeled, seeded, and diced. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah.
Let me rinse this off and I'll get started with the peeling of the cucumbers. So tell me, okay, so Friday nights. Tell me more about traditional Friday nights in a Jewish home, the history of it.
Yes. Okay. So Friday. So Shabbat starts Friday night when the sun goes down, which of course, changes depending on the season and where you live. So essentially when the sun goes down, we light the candles and we say the blessing for Shabbat. We also say a blessing over a glass of wine and the blessing over the challah or the food. And then essentially you eat, thank you, a meal together. And you're just supposed to really just enjoy yourself and enjoy your family and your friends. And the Sabbath, though, is, of course, the day of rest. So,
and that's Saturday?
And that's Saturday in the Jewish faith. It's sundown. It starts Friday night sundown and goes till Saturday night sundown.
Okay.
And then, depending on how observant you are, some people won't drive on Shabbat. They won't, of course, they don't work on Shabbat. They don't play on their phone on Shabbat. They really take the day to unplug and rest. So, which I think everybody needs. Everybody needs to unplug
Have
and
a
rest.
day where we unplug.
100%. So it's basically a Shabbat dinner is sort of a way to kick off the day of rest. And growing up was always so fun because my mom would always make a big Shabbat dinner every Friday night, and she would cook a fresh challah. So I think that's why I'm biased, where I'm like, all the store-bought challah just doesn't taste as good as homemade challah. And then she would always open the doors for all of my friends to come over, and everyone would come over and eat dinner, mostly because they were like, yeah, your mom's cooking dinner. I'll come eat. We'll be there.
Yeah.
But it was always so fun. And it was a great way for, I think, also not just the family to get together, but for my parents to get to know my friends and my siblings' friends and just hear about the week and, just kind of bond over food, which is
one of the things that this show is about.
Exactly. 100%.
So it is, so anybody's welcome to join for Shabbat?
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Okay. So I'll see you
Great.
Friday night.
I'll see you Friday night. Yeah.
Okay.
And then, that's also when there's usually a service at synagogue Friday night and then Saturday morning. Those are typically when people will gather.
I'm going to try. This says, I never do this. It says to peel and seed your cucumbers. So I'm just going to try to do this with a spoon.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah. I don't know. Never
Why
done
not?
it.
Why
Trying
not?
new things in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
Carrie, are you cringing over there or?
Yeah.
I see. Yeah, I don't know that I've ever been asked to de-seed my cucumbers, but oh, so Carrie was saying it prevents some of the maybe GI upset that some people experience with cucumbers.
Oh. I didn't realize that. Sorry. Too many cooks in the kitchen.
Well, I'd never heard that. I'm one of the fortunate ones that I don't have that. But if you do, that's a great, you can de-seed and it will help, I guess.
Yes.
I don't know, worth a shot. One of the things that I have learned since working in this job, I don't even know, sealed and diced. Okay, good.
Mm-hmm.
Or seeded and diced.
Mm-hmm.
Is I have learned how to, well, I guess cook. I don't know, or at least try stuff since starting this job. Because when you work with dietitians, you learn a lot about food.
Yeah,
and I
that's
feel like
awesome.
it's completely changed my food life at home for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I really enjoy getting in the kitchen and experimenting more where I would not. I've always liked baking because I like exact rules. And cooking,
okay.
cooking
Interesting.
isn't
Yeah,
exact.
cooking is not exact.
No. And you just kind of do the best you can with what you got.
We also have my dicer if we want to use that.
Oh yeah, we should highlight. So we have and we don't promote any brands or anything.
No.
This, I think it's a Pampered
It's
Chef.
a Pampered Chef dicer or chopper.
It's still got the dill in
It's a
it.
chopper. Yeah, we can rinse it out. But I love it. I'm going to show y'all how it works because I just think having something like this in your kitchen makes your life easier.
I think we have one and then we always forget about it. And then we find it in a cabinet a year after we need it for a specific recipe. So then another year goes by and there it is again. I'm going to put all this in that big bowl. Okay. So we are, I think we're nearing it. How long do the matzo balls go in for?
It's been about 15 minutes.
Yeah. So the matzo balls go in the water for 30? Okay.
So, I mean, we can We can maybe peek a little early.
Oh, no peeking.
I know, it said no peeking.
So we'll, okay. So,
So
Carrie was giving us our time warning. So we know how much longer we can,
all right.
before we can check on the matzah.
So see, it just kind of quickly chops them up. We don't have to do that for the tomatoes though. Those can go straight in. Yeah. Oh. See? I know. I love this thing. How easy is that? Yeah.
She's saying she likes that it's open at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know if they still make these. I bought this thing over 10 years ago. A friend in college had it.
But it still works.
Yeah, so I've had it a really long time.
And it's all about making your life easier. If you like the process of chopping, don't worry about it. But usually stuff like that you can get pretty much online or in one of those kitchen stores.
It's just loud. Sorry, team. Oh, okay. Okay. Wasn't sure how much the audience can hear about how loud the chopper is.
Okay.
This is looking really good. An Israeli salad, it's just something quick, easy you can make. I mean, it can be on the side. Sometimes, you know, you could eat it like in a pita sandwich with hummus, falafel.
Yeah, you were saying it's mostly like a
anything you want.
Mediterranean style salad. So there's a
100%.
bunch of different. Yeah, we talked about that a little bit at the beginning. There's so many different ways to make it. It's just kind of like a Mediterranean salad.
Yes, and it's just jam-packed full of
colors
and nutrients and fiber, and it's just delicious.
A great way to get some extra nutrients in there. So one of the things that we do at the hospital, or one of the employee challenges we recently had was is it 30? What's it called? Get 30 or something like that. But you can challenge yourself to eating 30 different vegetables, fruits, plants.
Oh.
That include spices and herbs in a week.
Wow.
Which you start out, you know, something like this. We've got, oh my gosh, what have we got? 8 things in there.
Yeah.
So far. So it's pretty easy, but then you start repeating towards the end of the week. So you have to start getting more creative and trying new things, different colors. All those colors you eat that have all the nutrients in there.
Yeah. Just trying to move it along.
All right.
And then the red onion, which we should definitely use the chopper.
Okay. We're down on time. Then
yeah, the chopper is fast.
I'm going to go this way. So knife safety tip, which I caught myself not doing. Once you cut off the ends, if you find the flat surface, it's going to be a lot safer to cut. And make sure you sharpen your knives regularly, because a sharper knife is actually a safer knife, because it will cut through the food easier and you're not trying to saw through your food, and there's less chance of it slipping and cutting you. And there are child safe knives if you have kids that want to get involved.
We have those and they love it. Kids really love participation.
Yes.
And I find that my daughter, my 5-year-old especially, is more inclined to eat the food if I involve her in the preparation of the food.
Absolutely, because they take ownership of it, so it feels like it's theirs.
When it's 2 scallion slices, just like this. Sliced down. Maybe I'll chop it a little bit so it's not so strong.
You don't get a whole big bite of green onion in there. Yeah, and we talk about Not, not only just the kids helping, but also talk about our colors. We don't talk about, oh, that food's good for you or bad for you. We talk about how important it is.
Sorry, it's so loud.
To eat lots of colors. That's okay. That is so much faster. It's only a fourth of a cup, so we don't really have to do the whole thing.
Oh, okay. Let me just do this then. I feel like it might be overwhelming with too much onion.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. All right. So we've done 2 cups of cherry tomatoes halved, 1 cucumber peeled, seeded, and diced, 1 orange or yellow bell pepper diced, and then we just did a fourth of a cup red onion. We did not measure it exactly. We're just kind of eyeballing it. That's cooking for you. If you love red onion, add more. Exactly. If you don't love it, add less. That's totally fine.
Right. This doesn't have to have all of these specific ingredients. I feel like the traditional Israeli salad, though, always has cucumber and tomato. I feel like that is the base.
Yeah.
And then everything else is kind of add as you like.
Yeah. Okay, so then she did 2 scallions, which are also known as green onions.
Yes.
And
we're going to add chickpeas.
1.5 cups of chickpeas. We already rinsed them prior. And then we have feta cheese. I did traditional, but they have and I bought them crumbled. Yeah. They have them with different spices on there. There's like herbs and things like that. So if you are sensitive to dairy and don't want to do feta cheese, don't do it. I know we predominantly plant-based at home, but today I'm just gonna yeah. So Carrie was saying that if you are plant-based and you wanted to add like a nice salty thing to that, instead of adding the cheese, you could do capers, which is a really great idea to kind of get, it's very different, but could get some of that similar.
All right. And then juice from half of a lemon. We're almost there, guys.
Okay.
Perfect. 7 minutes to spare. Oh, I'm worried about the matzo balls.
And now with the lemon, you can always, if you squeeze the lemon over your hand, and if you
can do it
with the seeds. Yeah. This was something that the famous Carrie Stewart showed me. If you do it over your hand like this and let it run through, you can catch the seed.
Oh,
see,
that's a good hack.
They're in my.
That's great.
Yeah.
Cool.
Another great reason to wash your hands.
Yeah. And then we'll need like a fresh spoon and we'll stir it up.
Yeah.
And add some salt and pepper.
And we just did half a lemon, right?
Yeah. I just did half of a lemon.
Perfect. I can feel that on the back of my hand.
Okay. A little bit of salt. Do we have, is this a pinch? Should I use that?
I would do ground pepper, which I think we have.
Yeah.
If you want to add.
Do you have it?
Yeah.
Oh,
should be right here. If we have some. Yep. Ground black pepper.
Should I just use this?
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So our little messy cutting board.
It's a little messy, but
I'm just going to do a little bit of black pepper to taste. Okay.
And you just mix it up.
And voila.
That's it.
Yum. So that right there, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 types of plants.
And look how colorful and delicious it looks.
And then with the soup, we add, if you were doing like a 30 plants in 1 week challenge, it would be, my goodness, we've got saffron, the cloves, carrots are added to that. I don't even know, but it'd be about 12. Here, no, right here.
I kind of want to peek on the matzo balls.
All right, so there you go. Is it time though?
I don't know, but I don't know how much time we have with our audience.
All right. Let's look at our, yeah, you're right. Put it here. Let me get the.
Might be hot.
Here you go.
I think that they look good to show people.
Okay.
They're not super big yet, but they're getting there.
We'll break the rules and peek this one.
We'll break the rules because we only have a few minutes left.
Okay. Ooh, those look so good. But see, I don't know how big they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
But they do look a lot bigger.
Yeah. They'll get a little bit bigger.
Can you all see those?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there you go. We'll kind of spread that saffron around. And so we'll let them sit for a few more minutes.
Yeah.
And we're going to have us some.
And then you can add back some of the, like the carrots and the celery, I think is what they recommended too, to add back into the soup. Because a lot of that stuff was obviously just for the flavor, like the onion and whatnot. But
yeah,
you can add back the carrots and the celery back into the vegetable soup. And then add your matzo balls.
I wish we had your great grandmother in here to ask her what she does.
I know. I do too. I do too. Great grandmother, Sarah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's it for us.
That's it.
Thank you so much.
That's matzo ball soup and Israeli salad. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
It was so fun.
It was a pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you all for joining us. If you have any questions or anything, feel free to type them into the Q&A really quick or shoot us an email. We'll send the recipes out to anybody who joined. And we will see you next month on, I believe it's November 20th. It'll be a Friday late afternoon or evening. Sorry, September. That's what I mean. And in October, we're going to have Dawn Garrison join us as well. She's an acupuncturist here, and we're going to be making broth. She's going to be talking about some herbs, things like that. So it's going to be really good. Do you know the date off the top of your head, Carrie, for that one? October 9th. So if you go to spartanburgregional.com and /events, you can find what all is upcoming. We've got some great programming that we're adding to the list every month. So we'd love to see you at another event. Thank you all.
Yay. Bye.